Okay, so in this lesson, what we will do, we'll try to understand the validation. So validation can be done via client side also, client side and server side also. So in this video, we will cover the client side validation. So whenever you create a doc type, what it does, it creates three kind of file: JS file, JSON file, and Python file. So this will happen only if you have dev mode. Okay, so you need to enable a developer mode. Sorry, I forgot my mic. So this developer mode you can enable it at two places, either in common site config, okay, or you can enable this inside site config for a specific site. So if you enable this one, enable developer mode inside this one, all site will have the developer mode. But if you want to run this developer mode on a specific site, you just mention developer underscore mode equals to 1 inside site config.json file. Okay. So in this tutorial, what we will do, we will create a work item doc type. Okay, item doc type, and in this we will try to implement the JS related validation, which will be a kind of client side validation. Okay, so I will create some field. One field can be like creation date, and then we'll have the task name, task title. Okay, and inside this task title we can have the subtitle also, and then we will have a start date, and then after that end date. Okay, so we'll try to implement some validation. For example, if we have created a task, okay, task 1, if this is a task, it will have a creation date or a date of creation, something like that, and task title. Okay, now if somebody is going to start this particular task, what they will mention, the start date. But this start date cannot be less than, okay, it should not be less than creation date, this one. Okay, so this kind of validation we will try to implement inside inside our client side, which is the JS file, JavaScript file. Okay, similarly we will add one more validation for the end date. So end date cannot be less than start date. Okay, it can be same, but it cannot be like before start date. So similar kind of validation we will also add for end date. Okay, so now I have already created a site, and I have also enabled the developer mode, and you can see this. So what I will do, I will just create one doc type, which will be work item, and module I will choose project and will create it. I will try to add some field, date, and this will be date of creation. The label will be date of creation. Okay, then I will add another field as data, and it will have the task title. task, or just title we can write TITLA. Then also we can add some more field related to start date and end date. The data type will be the date, and this will be start date, then again date, end date. Okay, and then I will save it. Once I save this, what will happen, if you might have noticed, so it actually creates a directory here inside a doctype work item, and inside this we will have 5 files. Okay, so these 2 files will not do anything, but I will explain these 3: JSON, JS, and py file. So work item .py file is actually server side script related file. JSON file is actually holding the schema of that particular form. Whatever form you are building in the site, the schema will be here. Okay, you can see the field order. If I change any field order, this will be updated. Okay, similarly we will have a work item.js. So this actually holds all the logic related to validation and some extra logic you can also write for the client side. Okay, and this one is related to writing the test cases. Okay, this like here you can write unit test for your modules or a doc type. So we will focus on this one because first we will cover the client side validation, and to do that, what I will do, I will just uncomment this. Okay, so what this will do is like every time if you are opening a document, the refresh event will be called. For example, if I do console log this, okay, and if I go to the work item list, and then I will create one work item, creation date as today, then title. Oh, I need to change the date field type of this. So this would be data, not date. Okay, so here the title will be task 1, and this is today. Start date also I will give as today, then save it. Okay, just wait, we fix this one. The naming rule will be auto increment, field type will be title, and then save it. In the form, this title will be in the list view, and yeah, that's it. Now if I try to save it, now it is saved. Okay, so now date of creation is there, title is there, and start date is there, but still we are able to change this. What we will do, we'll make this as read only. So we'll go back to the editor, and here we'll make it mandatory and read only. You just need to check this box. Okay, and save it. As soon as we save it and open this, you can see right now I can't change this value. Okay, the only thing I can change is the start date and the end date. For example, if I choose start date, which will be 23, and try to save it, it will allow me to save. But what I want to write a validation for that. Okay, whenever somebody choosing date, which is less than this one, date of creation, it will throw some error. Okay, and it will not allow user to save this document. So here what we will do in the JSON in the JS file, one more thing I forgot to show you. So whenever you are opening any document, if I show you inspect element console, here you can see work item form refreshed. If I open this one, this will appear. So the refresh event is getting triggered whenever we are opening any document. Okay, so similarly what we will write, we'll do on the validate. So we'll remove this and we'll write validate, and then inside validate what we will do, we'll check if this field is set or not inside if, and if it is set we will check the condition. So here I will just write if frm dot doc dot start date. Okay, if this is there, then you do something, right? So right now what I will do, I will do two things. I will do console log will print the start date, and console.log I will print the end date also, and then console.log I will also print the creation date. Okay, and date of creation. Okay, and in the last I will also put console.log, this will be form.doc, and then here I can write this date of creation, and this is document. Okay, now what I will do, I will reload this. So now you can notice I have removed the refresh, that's why it is not showing anything inside the console. But what I will do, I will try to save this. It is already saved, it was already saved, and what I will do, I will just try to save it. So as soon as I hit save button, what happens, that validate is actually triggered, this one, and it is doing this because this value is set. So here right now it's giving new object, but we can just print this without plus. Just remove this. We'll reload it and try to save it. So now you can see I'm getting the object, and it has all the information related to this particular document, like date of creation, doc status. We will cover this in other lecture. Similarly, we have doc type name also, idx also, modified by, and the name of the particular document, and the start date, title also we have. We can read each and every information from this object. Okay, so right now what I am trying to do here is we'll check the value of the start date and date of creation. If the start date is less than date of creation, we'll throw another error, okay, or a message. And let's do that here. So here what I will do, I will just write this expression. Okay, so if start date is less than date of creation, then start date cannot be before date of creation. And I will just set this frappe.validate as false. Okay, so now what I will do again, like in the work item, we close this. I will try to, let's delete this one, delete this, and then create one more title, task start date. I will not mention the start date, I will just create a task and save it. Why date of creation is not appearing here? Date of creation mandatory, read only. Okay, this is read only. So by default I will just give the value, it will fetch the today date. Okay, I'll refresh it. So right now creation date is there, and we just need to mention the title, task 1. Okay, and save it. Now I have saved it without entering any data in start date and end date. And suppose we have assigned this particular task to someone. Now they want to put start date, and if they are putting 20, like less than the date of the current date or creation date, for example like 1st July, and try to save it. Now you can see we are getting some message related to this, or we can also throw some error. Okay, here. So right now we are getting message the start date cannot be before the creation date, and it is not allowing user to save this. Okay, so this we have implemented. For example, right now I am just selecting current date and try to save it. So it is allowing me to mark the status, mark the start date as current date or a date of creation. And then for the end date, if I try to mark it before the start date, like 9, try to save it, it is not throwing any error because we have not handled that particular case. Now what we will do, we'll add that condition also here, or if end date is there and start date is greater than end date. No, if start date is greater than end date. Okay, nice. This way. So here what we will do, we'll do the same thing, and we'll just set this message, and inside validate we will just set the false. So here you can see we are checking if there is a start date and if there is this condition. Okay, let's do that. This I have already saved, so it will not throw any error. But if I change the value and put it 23 and try to save it, now it is saying start date cannot be after end date. The text is wrong, we can correct it. And end date cannot be before the start date. Okay, if I reload and try to save it, it is showing this. Okay, so this information was already saved. That's why you are not seeing this not saved. So now suppose that I was assigned this particular task and I added the start date, and now I try to select the end date. So what will happen, I will just make it as 23 and try to save it. It will say like end date cannot be the start, cannot be before the start date. Okay, so now we have implemented the client side validation successfully. Next we will do the same thing on the server side. Okay,